Hey, everybody, John and Lance from the bench. Mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Let's talk some Rockets basketball, Lance. Last week, in response to a question about how the Warriors intended to use Steph Curry, Steve Kerr said, we're not going to all of a sudden turn into the Rockets, have a guy go high pick and roll 70 times a game. I'd resign before I do that. I think we think that nobody else is seeing this, that, man, this is kind of boring. Steve Kerr knows better than anybody because of how often that these two teams have played in the postseason. But is it a joke now? Is the way that the Rockets play and their small ball and their entire approach a joke?
I don't think it's a joke, but I think that I don't think it's really well loved. I mean, they're so dependent upon one player, and then I think what they do is predictable, and the Rockets don't care if you think it's predictable. They just want to know if you can stop it. The Rockets and Daryl Morey, they want to exploit their best advantage of winning, whatever that is, time and time and time again, and they understand that will flow and change slightly based on how teams defend and when James is in the game and when James isn't. I think what they're saying is that's a brand of basketball that Steve Kerr and the Warriors believe doesn't work. They believe that it's not a championship caliber formula. I think they believe it's not team basketball really, and guys become stale in those sets. And I think that's a fair observation based on what we've seen over the last years.
Yeah, duh. Well, now whoever is the coach, and Ty Lue is the favorite to become the next head coach of the Houston Rockets, is he just going to be plugged in and you have to do the same thing? And this is what you get. We're not changing. This is Rockets basketball, and you got to listen to Daryl and you got to listen to James, and otherwise you ain't going to coach here.
I think Tillman threw us off with that whole comment about the culture change, or at least Kelly Iko had the comment about someone close to Tillman saying there was going to be a culture change. So Kelly Iko from The Athletic is the one who said, I don't think there was ever a quote directly attributed to Tillman. But just that idea of culture change made us think that things were going to be different. But here's the reality. Daryl is a guy who is not subject to emotion a whole lot. He goes by what the data tells him. And what the data is going to tell him, like it or not, is that they have the best effectiveness and efficiency when they do things the way that they are doing them now. I think they had to make an alteration because of adding Russell Westbrook. And so I think any coach that comes in needs to understand that they are handcuffed to a degree because both of your guards are lead guards. James Harden is a lead guard. Russell Westbrook is a lead guard. They're still proving that they can play together. And then you have Eric Gordon, who has a big contract at guard. So I think I don't know that it's the most favorable situation. If a veteran coach like Jeff, look at who's being considered, right? John Lucas, we've heard his name. Ty Lue, who's not a head coach. Sam Cassell's name was mentioned. Jeff Van Gundy's been out of basketball for quite a while. I don't think you're going to see a now coach, a coach who is just brand new, fresh in the league, or a big name. I don't think this is a really favorable situation because of what you mentioned. I'm not sure that Daryl doesn't run the philosophy, number one. And then number two, the concern about James Harden is, can you get him to do what he needs to do to buy in?
Yeah, well, that's always going to be a question. What's not in question is the Blue Mountains and Coors Light. Cold, clean, crisp, refreshing, and it's the official beer for me of watching basketball. It's the official beer of me watching anything, actually, and doing anything, playing golf, playing poker, or anything else that I'm taking a shower, whatever I'm going to do, there's got to be a Coors Light involved. That's me. That's just me, but I hope it'll be you too. If you haven't tried a cold, clean, crisp, refreshing Coors Light, check it out. You can see how cold it is by the mountains being blue. Your beer can't do that. Mine can. And that's why I drink cold, clean, crisp, refreshing Coors Light, which is Texas chill. All right. To me, culture change is Jeff Van Gundy. That's a guy who's going to make them sit up and listen as opposed to running the show. That's a culture change to me. There's only 30 jobs, so you're going to get a coach, obviously. But I've heard plenty of players say, I don't want to play with James Harden. I don't want to play in that system. I can't flourish in that system because James got the ball all the time. So are they ever going to be able to get the right guys to finish this thing off?
I mean, you know my thought. I don't think the way it's built now. I think they're kind of anchored to this to the big money guys, and I don't think it can win. I don't think I don't think there's enough money. I don't think there's enough draft capital to move. I don't think there's enough tradable pieces for you to change your fortunes. The only way you change your fortunes, to me, is moving James Harden. And I'm not saying it's going to change your fortunes for the better, but the only way you can really reshuffle the deck is by moving number 13. And I don't know if the Rockets are ready for that right now.
Anthony Davis wants to go play with LeBron. LeBron wanted to go play with Dwayne Wade. Kevin Garnett wanted to go play with Paul. All these people that want to go play with people, you really don't, unless you're traded to the Houston Rockets, you don't really see that. You don't get that. You know what? I've got to go play with the Rockets and win a championship. I could see guys saying that, Dwight and other guys, McGee and all these guys saying, I'm going to go play with LeBron because I got a chance of winning a ring. When was the last time you heard that?
How quickly you've forgotten about Carmelo Anthony, who wanted to be a Rocket.